don't you take me bowling? I came into this country to live a life of trouble. But ever since I got here, man, my blood pressure has doubled. These promises of freedom and the memory attractions turned out to be a bunch of crap and misleading distractions. My cousin is an idiot, he's always in a mess, and cleaning up his problems is a constant source of stress. And every time I'm on a job, he won't leave me alone. Every hour, every minute, man, he rings my bloody phone. Nico, it's your cousin, why don't you take me bowling? And afterwards we'll go get drunk and go rock-a-rolling. Cousin, it's your cousin, let's get a bleeder burger and wash away the taste of all that carnage, crime and murder. Nico, it's your cousin, why don't you take me bowling? I can't believe this. Ooh, Nico, it's your cousin, why don't you take me bowling? Yeah, Roman, what the hell? Now is really not the time. I'm kind of in the middle of a quite demanding crime. I'm driving like a maniac, I'm on a high-speed chase, and you want me to desist so you can stuff your fatty face? Why don't you phone these cops and tell them to calm down? And maybe then I'll have the time to ferry you around. I'll phone you when it's over, if I don't hit a wall, and then I'll show you just where you can stick your bowling balls. Nico, it's your cousin, why don't you take me bowling? And afterwards we'll go get drunk and go rock-a-rolling. Cousin, it's your cousin, let's get a bleeder burger and wash away the taste of all that carnage, crime and murder. Nico, it's your cousin, why don't you take me bowling? I nasi Roma, no blood clots. Ooh, Nico, it's your cousin, why don't you take me bowling? Great, another freeloading shithole. Yeah, I've got 99 problems, and a fat idiot cousin is definitely one.
Suspect heading east on Algonquin Bridge. Heading east towards a bowling alley in South.
Check him out on youtube.com/Miracle of Sound, ladies and gentlemen. That is Nico. It's your cousin. Why don't you take me bowling? A good question. Something perhaps a little bit more epic to lead into our third place match between the Ukraine and Germany by Hiroyuki Yura and Zane Banks. Composed by the mighty Zircon, this is actually from the extended soundtrack to Soul Calibur 5. It's called Sleepless, an Untamed Beast, and it is that damn good. damn good, isn't it? Really, really good. Here's a little bit more from Soul Calibur 3 just to finish us off here. Something a little less stressful. Indeed. Trumpets, which is appropriate. We do have the third place. Not quite like that. It's kind of a mood ruin. You know, I think trumpets have simultaneously the potential to set the mood in the greatest possible respect, to be the most reverent tones, perhaps, possible of any brass instrument, and then simultaneously to ruin the mood of any situation with the wrong kind of melody.
Yes, I completely agree. Trumpets have an uncanny ability to just... It's like Gonzo in the Muppets. He never shows up quietly.
No. No, he does not. And
Gonzo sets the tone.
He does. Alright, folks, here we go. The third place match, and what a third place match we have. This could have been the finals. It maybe in some people's opinions should have been the finals, but it ain't, though. So, to the north, in the Zerg position. The Zerg position. What? That sounds like a really, really cut-rate version of the Kama Sutra. Assume the Zerg position. Translates roughly into the 10 pool, which is a bit of a kinky move, something you don't want to try with someone you don't know really, really well. But Bly's going to try it because, of course, he knows TLO really, really well. Ooh, is that 10 pool gas, or will that be a cancel? That looks like that's 10 pool gas.
Oh my god, I dig it so hard. We haven't really gotten the chance to see this kind of Zerg vs. Zerg in a while. It was very popular in the Korean Pro League scene for probably 2 or 3 months. The whole idea is that you get Zerglings with speed so quickly and apply the pressure so early, there's no way you'll be up against a 2-basing player. And then you end up with a very odd 1-base versus 1-base starting point. Doesn't mean that it's going to be over quickly, it just means that that's where you begin. So Bly's going to go ahead and get his lings out. He may very well just rally into his main base just briefly until he accumulates enough lings, because this Overlord, I think from TLO... Oh, actually it won't see it. He might just wander right around this Overlord by default? Ooh.
Interesting.
Oh my god,
yeah, he's going to avoid them. He will see the 10 pool. He might not see the Baneling nest with that current rally point, but obviously if he sees the 10 pool, he's going to expect some things up there. But you're right, he's not going to see those lings till the last minute. They've bypassed all of the Overlords so far. They even bypassed the second Overlord from TLO.
Oh my gosh. I mean, just with a simple rally, but TLO did go pool first, so we do see the Queen and Zergling set up. I mean, TLO seems to know exactly what he's up against.
Exactly.
Given that he's up against Bly.
Yeah, don't mess around with Bly. You know, people will see the pool going down earlier than 14 or 15 and say, ooh, the big cheese, oh my god, is he going to hold it? Well, yeah, it's not really how that works. This isn't a 6 pool, so he's going to have some lings out, he's going to have some Banelings. He's obviously hoping to do massive amounts of damage, but it may be the case that this does not end the game, and TLO can certainly hold it with what he's got, but it's going to be tricky.
Yeah, I mean, Bly is implying that he doesn't want a long game. Normally, you just get speed and run from there.
Normally, you don't have Banelings at your opponent's base at the 4-minute mark. That's fairly unusual, but he's going for it. Gotta get the connections! So far, no, that's a decent one. Ish.
Queen falls, and Spine Crawler's done. Great split by TLO. Does eat a pretty significant shot, and will have to run those drones every which way for just a brief amount of time, but TLO is calmly adding on more queens, more lings, and drones are coming up for Bly. It's just like you said, Totalbiscuit. Might not end the game, but it's going to be a weird, tense spot at the very least.
Yeah, it certainly started it off with a bang. I'll give him credit for that. It unfortunately didn't do much. The amount of workers killed, only 2, for a rather massive commitment from Bly. That's not a good start for him, at all.
Right now, it looks like TLO is calmly moving that Spine Crawler. The ability that once upon a time was a Protoss ability.
Was it really?
You could move your cannons around.
That sounds like a dreadful... Oh, yes, you could warp it. That sounds like a dreadful idea.
No, that sounds balanced and fair. Just ask my brother.
Ah, yes. Second Spine Crawler going down here for TLO. Very defensive. Expecting the standard follow-up all-in after the first failed all-in.
Yeah.
But Bly is, of course, going to expand from here. But he's behind. He's straight up behind.
Yeah.
So, as Bly, what do you have to do from here to get back into it?
I mean, probably take a big risk. I think TLO is doing a very clever move. He's going to be blasting out. You know, he was just doing an extractor trick.
Yes.
Times 3.
You were about to say he's going to blast out that spire and get up to lair or something like that, or... But no.
Well, I was going to say he's going to do a very clever play with this positioning with a Spine Crawler, walling himself in and then beginning a tech, but I still think he's going to be walling in, but not teching nearly as quickly. I mean, he's planting his creep tumors at the edge of his creep. We're almost certainly going to see one Evo, one Roach Warren begin a wall off for TLO. And I think that if you're in Bly's shoes, you got to do something wild.
Oh, we already saw a fairly wild opening. It just failed completely. So I have to wonder what the follow-up is to that, really. It's different. I have no idea. You know, in this position, you shouldn't be down 10 drones. And because Bly started off the way that he did, he is.
I mean, there are follow-ups that are correct if you ignore the fact you have another player. Like, generally speaking, it's correct in Bly's position to do something very teching focused, getting up a very gas-heavy force. Because if you're ever low on drones, you can easily put 3 in a geyser and have maximum income out of that geyser. Yeah. But it's very difficult to get all the way up. So Bly should do something gas-focused, and it looks like that's what he's doing. He's going to be going for a Roach Warren, and it's very likely he'll go for a follow-up all-in. Just Roach Baneling and burst the front.
It's going to take a lot of busting. I mean, that wall is really, really well positioned. There's 2 Spine Crawlers behind it, a lot of queens. Spine Crawlers are slightly back as well, meaning that I think if you look at it, if you actually got up to the evolution chamber, you might not even be able to shoot the spine from there with roaches. I'm not sure. It's kind of on the edge of what would allow you to be in range here.
At the very least, it will be the roaches waltzing directly into a spot of great danger.
Indeed.
Ah, yes, Bly doing the nest T all-in, as I like to call it. Because you get 3 geysers and you don't get a layer. Or you cancel the geyser because you've accumulated too much gas. The important thing is that you need that gas because you're going to be flooding banelings, friend.
Well, here's the roaches to start that off. And then we'll see if we get the follow-up banelings coming in here. In the meantime, TLO building up his own roach count, getting his own banelings. He's stopped his drone production. And to be fair, why would he need to build any more drones? He got up to 47 on 2 bases. He knows his opponent must be way far behind. He's like way further behind than he might even suspect on only 30 drones. So, he's going to attack. I mean, he's got to attack, surely. So, you got to make some units, and you're going to try and defend that. And frankly, I don't see Bly breaking this in a million years. He's going to have to do something pretty spectacular.
TLO is really exceptional in Zerg vs. Zerg. TLO even running these banelings in.
Oh, lovely. Just because you didn't have a murder enough economy already, right?
He just wants to make sure that Bly is as all-in as possible. So here comes the Ling Roach composition. You'll see that Bly, with his early gas stockpile, is now burning it all on the blings. And I actually think that this Roach Warren is a little bit exposed. And that could be kind of a tide turner if he can take that out.
Yeah, they should be able to focus it in. Bly's just going to go right into the choke and use banelings to just brutalize that.
front line.
Wow. But TLO will be able to push that back. I mean, that's not a problem. It did cancel 2 upgrades, don't get me wrong, and it was spectacular to watch, but it didn't actually do anything, so... Never mind.
This is as bad of a spot as you can be in as Bly. He's probably just going to do one more follow-up, or he may just very well leave after this first set dies. And there it is.
Pretty
Good
much.
game.
More like Acer die.
Oh!
The burns! The burns!
But I highly doubt he's going to Acer cry because his team isn't out yet.
That is absolutely true. That said, it's possible that after that performance, he will not get to Acer fly to another event anytime soon.
Ah, wow. You Acer defy all logic by continuing this joke.
I am that Acer guy. Sorry, I'm telling too many Acer lies.
Oh!
I can do basic rhymes!
You can do Acer rhymes.
Wait, no. Acer Rhymes does sound like some kind of East Coast gangster rapper name, though.
Yeah.
I'd buy CDs from Acer Rhymes.
Dude, you know, it's like, you know, I was thinking about this the other day, based upon the name Flo Rida, where, you know, it's Florida, but the thing is that, like, Florida is just a state that a lot of old people live in, so it's not like a cool reference. Like, Flo Rida sounds cool, but the fact that it's Florida is not cool.
Yeah. That doesn't really work out. That's about as cool as the band Europe.
Oh.
But could you make that cool, though?
I mean, you could. There's a lot of cool things in Europe.
Europe! Yeah! I'm not as hip as I think I am.
No, I think we're pretty hip. I mean, I wouldn't count us out as unhip people. I think we're pretty hip.
We can maybe get away with it with this crowd. I think regular, normal people that go outside and have conversations, maybe not.
But, like, what about at the club? Because, like, I know last time you and I went there...
We did.
We got mad... I guess we danced.
Well, I personally was counting stacks.
Yes, taking lines of coke.
Unfortunately, that was because I hadn't quite kept up with the accounting for this financial quarter, so...
Oh, yes, that's right. I mean,
I had to actually take my work to the club, which...
It's important to keep said stacks measured and appropriate because you don't want to be flagged by the IRS.
Well, yeah, you need to make sure that the appropriate proportion of the stacks is given to the government, who we rightly support in order to provide basic municipal facilities for...
Yeah, and I mean, the fact that you brought it to the club makes the club a tax write-off.
Ah, that's actually true. That it becomes a temporary office for the business, ergo, you can take about 50% away from that. Admittedly, it's not quite the ideal environment, little noisy, little smoky. Visibility, fairly poor.
But, of course, dem hose can be written off in your 1040, so...
I have to ask, would Demhos be independent contractors in that position?
It depends on whether or not said hose is incorporated.
Okay.
I mean, you know, if they're an individual enterprise, then highly likely. But you know, you can consider. This is serious. Damn it! I broke, man. Crap. Yeah, I don't go to the club, but I do listen to music in my chair and bob my head, and I feel cool. And sometimes I have my music in my car crunk up real loud, and then when I get to a stoplight, I turn it down because I don't want to be rude.
Indeed. That would be completely impolite and inconsiderate for those around you.
I know, and I by and large like other people, so why would I want to irk them?
Urkham, also a West Coast rapper.
Irk them.
Oh, dear.
Irk 'em McGurk 'em.
We're really good at filling time, honestly.
We are. We
Probably
haven't even talked
better
about
than the
StarCraft.
casting, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times I say things like, "Whoa, he's doing a very nice transition into an all-in after his failed all-in," and it's not nearly as cool as talking about Dem Hose's independent contractors with a Z.
I got my P-35s already, yo.
Are those Nerf guns?
No. I'm not even sure if a P-35 is a real thing. Let's find out. It's either a... It sounds like a firearm, though, so I think you can kind of get away with it. Oh, a P-35 appears to actually be an Intel chipset codenamed Bear Lake. I don't think I'm going to get away with this, Interclub.
Oh, codenamed Bear Lake. Oh my god.
Bear Lake, of all things.
Bear Lake, what a name.
You're just having that nice day out in the rowboat. You know, the sun is shining, the water is crisp and clear and sparkling, and suddenly, oh god, the lake is filled with bears. Somehow we never saw that coming.
It's actually, I'm literally floating atop a fur bed of bears. Somebody call the president and have him bring in Bear Force One.
Thank God the downtime has ended, so we can stop this. To the northeast position in the Blue Trunks, playing for the Ukraine, it's the one and only Demaga. The monstrous man, the man that many would say would be the ace for the team, but he's coming out now. He needs to knock out this fellow from Germany. To the northwest position. In the red trunks for Team Liquid is Herr TLO.
Now, bear in mind, these two players did battle it out in the Group B finals, where Demaga narrowly pulled a win off TLO with just exquisite play. Just brilliant, quick expand to a third, thin defense, and then a final finisher with a Baneling battering ram that I just loved.
Hey.
TLO's 10 pooling.
Yay! All right, this is a good series already. This has been highly entertaining. And he's gonna go 10. Is that temple gas or is the temple cancel? Looks like 10 pool gas. Is he going to do the exact same build that Bly did, only not awful?
Yeah, I mean, that might be a really good way to iteratively improve an SC2. You just do whatever build you last played, always.
Interesting that Demaga puts his spawning pool in the exact same mirror location as TLO did. I guess that does allow you to create a partial wall-off. It also means that you can't get full surface area on the spawning pool.
Always good to fill in those little gaps to prevent any early Zergling and Baneling aggression. And plus, it's a very nice spot where a queen can fit right in between.
Baneling nest behind. It is the identical build. They'll never suspect the Bly build, especially not after it failed utterly.
Well,
But it's going to get seen. Demaga's scouting is on point this time around. To be fair, it didn't really make much of a difference. TLO didn't see the lings.
Yeah.
He still killed them all anyway, but... Alright. Let's see what TLO can do with this and how much he actually commits. Obviously, he's got to use Banelings pretty well in this mix. The Bane nest will be done by the time these lings actually get across the map. A deceptively long rush distance by ground, not so much by air.
and it looks like Demaga's answer. What will it be? He's just playing very calmly. Looks like TLO is actually getting Zergling speed, and he's canceled the Baneling nest. So it looks like Bly's play level 2.
Yeah. It is an well, I wouldn't even say an all-in per se. It could very rapidly turn into an all-in if it fails miserably, but here we go. TLO trying to do his best here, trying to do some damage, and so far not really getting that done whatsoever. Has only killed a single worker. The Baneling nest cancels, and you know, this 10 pool thing, not really working out so far, but he is working on that hatchery. He's surely not going to get it. If he gets speed and does some ridiculous levels of micro, then maybe, but this is looking unlikely
perhaps.
here.
I mean, TLO's pulling back to normal play, but Demaga is light years ahead at this point in time.
Yes, absolutely. Because you
I
start...
think I don't know enough about this deviation from TLO to say that he's dead in the water right now. He might insta-tech to a layer because he's guaranteed to have a lead in gas, but still going to be a really tough defense versus anything that Demaga wants to attack with.
If TLO had a few more lings here, I'd like his position a bit more, because he's drawing the lings away, speed will kick in, and then he can do some damage. But he's only got 5 lings, and 3 of them are heavily injured. He's not going to make much happen with that. With those queens, like, maybe 1 gets past that wall. So this doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
And TLO is going to find out immediately that this just is not going to work. Oh, he manages to get 3 past. That's pretty impressive. The queens were a little bit out of position there, so he starts to get the harass done. Maybe this allows him to play the catch-up. He's currently 3 drones behind, and obviously quite a bit of lava behind.
Well, he does see the gas has only just started, so going for some sort of gas-heavy play, well, maybe not gas-heavy, but doing something clever with gas, I think is just a very nice follow-up. TLO is electing to get a Baneling nest. That could be defensive, that could be offensive, but given this link count, probably going to be a little attack.
Alright, well, he picked off a couple of workers there. He's definitely not in a terrible position compared to Bly, that committed a huge amount of banelings to an attack and just didn't do anything with them. So he's a couple of drones behind. His hatchery is later, which means he has one less queen. He's got one less larva, of course. And his drone count's a little bit low. Whoa! TLO actually was thinking about going up there. He could have got trapped inside the base, though, and that would probably not have gone well. Yeah, engaging against this is not going to work in a million years.
I'm struggling to see what a follow-up answer is for TLO here. I mean, I think he has to go for a lair. He has to go for a spire. He definitely needs a second queen out. Damaga is just going to pull way ahead with that absurd amount of larva income.
Yeah, there's really no other way of looking at it, is there? He's got Lings against a solid wall-off that's not breaking at all. Damaga has been able to skip his speed for this entire time, which is just wonderful. You know, it's great not to have that out. He's just been playing solid macro. And TLO, of course, is starting to catch up now. I mean, he's actually passed him in drones because he's just been building nothing but that. But where does he go from there, like you said? You know, surely a Spire play, maybe Nidus, maybe, but I don't know. We're seeing a Roach Warren actually come out from TLO. Even if he wants to go and try and batter that front down, that's still a tall order.
Yeah, I mean, TLO has to defend like 7 different things with a very small set of choices. So I think that Roach Warren might not be much of anything other than a just beginning of a wall. TLO should be getting a lair at around 7 minutes and putting dudes back into gas at that same time.
Yeah, I don't know, I think he's equalized up quite nicely, but I'm a little concerned because once Damaga just goes into full-on Damaga mode, I just need to correct this, actually. It's actually a best of 5, not a best of 3. My apologies. A slight mistake there on the scoreboard. Once it goes into full Damaga mode, I don't know whether or not TLO is going to be able to handle it. You know, even if you're equal to Damaga, you're still going to have a tough time dealing with Damaga. And when you start behind, that's a really, really tough spot to be in.
But look at this. TLO's going for the play that I hadn't even considered. I mean, I was thinking of this in the framework of just regular Zerg versus Zerg. Yeah. But TLO's saying, okay, well, if I have more Lings and I have speed, you might have upgrade advantages, but let me just get a gold. If I can get the gold, I'm going to get a big, big influx of cash that might let me equalize. And